Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome to Tanesia's Locks Beauty Tips and Potpourri. I am Tanesia Ali and I want to share with you all 6 reasons why some people should avoid sister locks. This information is based on my journey and what I have learned as I have continued to nurture my sister locks over the last going on 9.5, close to maybe 10 years. It's been the best decision of my life. I would never go back. And this is really a lifestyle for me, so I plan to continue to cultivate the health of my hair so that I can maintain my locks, hopefully far into the future. If you're new to this channel, welcome! And if you are one of my Soul Tribe members or subscribers, welcome home. So nice to see you guys. I love checking in with y'all. And so right after this video too, I'm also going to do one on 7 top reasons why you should get sister locks. So if you're kind of in the market for sister locks and you're not sure, you're on the fence, this would be good videos for you. And for those of y'all that are part of my soul tribe that just like to connect, it's a good video for y'all too. So let's talk about 6 reasons why you should avoid sister locks. All right. The first reason is if you are unwilling to do the necessary leg work to find a suitable loctician. This is very important because you really want the person that you sign up with to do your sister locks to be someone that you can go long term with, which means you kind of either you got to get really lucky or you got to do your homework, because you need to be fortunate enough to find someone that you like them as a person. They have an admirable level of professionalism and their energy feels good. And when you go to them for your frequent retightenings or you need to give them a call to ask them something about a hair concern, you feel comfortable and you were able to establish a really good rapport. That is so important. Now, the sister that established my locks, Ifraj, and you guys know I have her information in some of my descriptions from some of the other videos, but she's asked me to hold because she has no more openings. Thank you to all of you beautiful sister lockers out there who have gone to Ifraj by way of my recommendation. I also have Neka, who maintains my hair when Ifraj doesn't do it. I would say over the period of time that I've had my locks, Neka has probably done retightenings maybe 6 or 7 times now. I've done them twice, I think, and Ifraj has done it the rest of the time. Now, Neka has not been taking new clients, period, for the last few years. So if that changes, I'm going to definitely let you guys know. So for now, she's not taking anybody. But anyway, I've been using her for a number of years to retighten my locks and to maintain them. She is the only person that has really been in my hair long term, although I'm in it because my hands are in it. I'm keeping my hair up. I'm caring for it. As you all know, I always do my retightenings around the front. That's a very sensitive area. So by the time I go in for my retightenings, there's very little that has to be done around the crown. I've done a lot of other things to maintain and encourage growth. And by the way, for a length check, my locks have gotten really long, especially in the back. Now, you know, around the front is where my lint battles have been over the years. Up until the last maybe 1.5 years, I was dealing with a lot of lint, and so I would go in and open up my locks, and that would affect the integrity of the lock. I was willing to deal with it. I had an obsession. If you go back to when I first started my channel, you're going to see countless videos on there about lint. And although I don't deal with lint in any way the way I used to, because I changed my Melanin Magic, Melanin Magic Miracle Grow hair blend into something that is more suitable for my hair, because I've learned over time, then you'll get an idea. That can help you to understand why I'm not dealing with the lint as much anymore. But as far as the length, it's grown a lot and it's been a really, really beautiful journey. But the loctician that you choose is a very important part of that journey. There are many people that I've spoken to that have had to hop from one loctician to the other, to the other, to the other. So as much as you can, do the research, Other than getting lucky, the only thing you really can do is to talk to that person a few times, allow them to install the tester locks, see if you can drop by the shop, see if you can get some references other than just the pictures that are on the site. People today, believe it or not, they take pictures off of other people's sites. Someone took pictures off of Efraja's site and put them on their site. So you have to really be careful. You want someone that is reputable. You want someone that cares about the client. And these are things that you can feel when you go in to meet a loctician. When you talk to that person, the energy that comes across, your intuitive insight about who this person really is, how they really do business, do they care about the client? All of those things are critical, and they need to be things that you definitely pay attention to. So if you're not willing to do the work to research a loctician, or to find multiple options and do a comparative analysis, then Sisterlocks are not for you, because this is a lifestyle, and whomever you settle on, you need to be prepared to go the long term with them, okay? The second thing is, if you are getting Sisterlocks based upon how someone else's hair looks. Now, obviously, when we choose Sisterlocks, it's likely because we see someone else's hair and we like the way it looks. So we say, oh, okay, those locks are small. They look organized. It kind of looks almost like if my hair were out. It looks a little different than traditional locks. I think I can really like this hairstyle. It is important to take into consideration the volume and density of your hair, the texture of your hair, meaning the type of your hair, and many other things in terms of the length that you're starting with, and so forth and so on, to help you gauge that this is an individual journey and your locks are not going to look like anybody else's locks. I see people's locks all the time, and when I see their locks, I'm like, gosh, I wish my locks were that small. My locks were never as small as I wanted them. Granted, because of my particular hair type, this was probably the best size lock for me. I've seen people with ultra small locks have their locks thin over time because the lock is too small. So I did, because of the rapport that I have with my loctician, after my first install, when I went in for my retightening, I had a few up here that I felt were larger than what I wanted. She separated them for me, which is what I liked, but we had a rapport. So the point is, don't make the choice because you look at somebody else's hair and you say, oh my gosh, that's what my hair is going to look like. Always remember that the state of your hair before you have locks is going to be enhanced, and it will no doubt improve based on how you care for your hair. But what you are working with in terms of your unique beauty is what you're working with. It's no different than the makeup that we put on and other things we do to enhance our look. So just keep that in mind. Number 3, if you should not get Sisterlocks if you are not willing to put in the work to maintain them. I'm not just talking about getting to that loctician and getting those retightenings. That's the easy part. And it's not that the locks are high maintenance, but there are certain things that you need to do. And sometimes we can have a misguided idea about having natural hair and that it's easy and that it's very little work to do. Especially when it comes to locks, we can think, other than the retightenings, what else do we really have to do with our hair? And some people give total control over to their loctician, and they require them to maintain their hair. You know, the people who do very little to their hair, and when they go to the salon to get their hair done, that person has to detangle, they have to comb, they have to pick through the waist, they have to do all of this stuff. To keep your locks healthy, there are just some basic things that you need to do and be prepared to do. You need to be somebody who's willing to take ownership over the style. You have to be willing to put your hands in your hair. You have to be willing to inspect your locks. You have to be willing to unmarry them if they get tangled. You have to be willing to oil your hair if you're someone that uses oil. I've used oil from day one, and trust me, I was one of those people who when Efraj went to put the oil on my hair, you know, I had read whatever scant literature there was out there about Sisterlocks, and I was like, like, are you sure that it's okay? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, are you sure? And it reminded me of when you read that book, Everything You Need to Know When You're Pregnant, that book. And then they say everything you need to know, your child needs to know between the ages of 0 and 2. And then it goes first grade, second grade, third grade. And you're on your first child and you read everything that everybody has to say. I was like that. So literally, and this is I digress. That's Albie. When I had Naima, I followed this parent-directed feeding program. And that program was designed to have your child sleep through the night between 6 and 10 weeks. And it did, but I followed it to a T, and many people thought I was insane. So I was one of those kinds of people. And when you invest the kind of money that you invest in Locs, you don't want anything to go wrong, okay? So that's just me. So you have to be that person that's willing to get in your hair, to unmarry the locks, to check on your locks, to make sure that the time between retightenings is beneficial for you and not detrimental for you. You have to, in other words, take the time to groom your hair, whether you're braiding and banding it, or for some people sleeping with a satin cap, which I gotta tell you, I just don't do anymore. Maybe I will do at some point, because these bad boys are getting longer, and it may be beneficial for me to get back on some of the things that I used to do with my locks that were more regimented. But you gotta be willing to get some skin in the game. If you're just going to turn your head over to somebody, and when you go in, your locks are going to be all tangled and married and rough around the edges because you're not doing what you need to do and you're not maintaining, then you're going to experience breakage. You're going to be disappointed, and you may not feel like this was the best choice for you. Something as simple as braiding and banding before every wash can take a toll on someone who doesn't want to have to do anything with their hair. So you end up losing your investment. So you definitely want to be careful about that. The fourth thing, or the fourth reason why you should not get Sisterlocks, is if you're not prepared to make a lifestyle change. Meaning, this is a long-term style. This is not something that you get and you change your mind about a year or two later. Even though people do that, and people have been known to take them out, and you can take them out, it takes a lifetime, and it can also take a toll on your hair. This is a decision that you need to be prepared to sit with for some time, which is one of the reasons why the Locticians do the what do they call it, the tester locks, to give you a chance to not only to see which what do we call the pattern, which pattern your hair takes better, but to give you a sense of, you know, this is a long-term thing. This is what they're going to look like. So take the time to really make sure that you're going to be in this for the long term, because not only is it a lifestyle change or a long-term commitment, there's certain phases that you go through that for some people can prove to be unpleasant, in addition to the maintenance that is required and the retightenings, that if you're not really gung-ho and passionate about it, it's not going to feel good. You're going to feel like you betrayed yourself. I'm gung-ho and passionate about Sisterlocks and Microlocks, period. I would never, ever want to go back to perming my hair or twisting my hair when I went natural before I cut it, or doing any of that. I love the idea of having a low maintenance style that allows me to wake up beautiful every single morning. That's my thing. Okay. This brings me to number 5. You shouldn't get Sisterlocks if you're not prepared for the various phases and the adjustments that you're going to go through with having these locks. Let me tell you, I really wasn't prepared for that. I was very naive, and I remember when my girlfriend got them, and she's had them probably 3 years longer than me. I remember looking at her hair and the amount she paid for them. At this time, I was as ignorant as they come when it comes to the Sisterlocks. And I remember thinking, you spent all that money and those things are so little. Like, I don't know how I thought they would be maintained. I don't know what I thought. I just didn't know enough. And I remember thinking, 3-4 days it took. How long? And why did you put those things in your hair? I really did. But when I had the faux pas with the dye and the henna and all my hair came out and I had cut it down to this short and I was tired of twisting, that's when I started looking at her hair thinking, okay, I need something that's low maintenance and I don't really want to go back to perms, so maybe I need to investigate the Sisterlocks. But even still, when I first had them installed, they were beautiful. Although I looked like a plucked chicken and I had all these gaps in my hair, I didn't like that. But the way the lock itself looked was beautiful because you could see the pattern. And some of my locks, you can see the pattern in still, but some of them you can't. Now, this has to do with hair type as much as different things that you may be doing with your hair. You guys know I did a lot with my locks. I would to deal with the bunching and the length. Sometimes I would take certain parts of them out and redo them. I did all sorts of things, but you can still look at my hair and tell that these are Sisterlocks. So I guess what I'm saying is, when I first got them though, I had a long phase of looking in a way that I didn't particularly like on one hand, and then some things that I wish I still had today from the first part of the journey. For example, I loved when they started to toughen up and started to lock, and it took mine a while. It took mine well over 1.5 years, 2 years. They started to look what locks look like, and I remember thinking, oh, this is what they're gonna look like. I remember thinking, oh my gosh. And then, you don't know what your hair is gonna look like as it matures, because as my hair matured and it dropped after 5 years, it changed again. And then as I was going through the teenage years with these locks of rebellion, it was looking crazy. And that's what drove me insane, because I was really much more OCD than I am today. So it's very important that you keep that in mind. You will go through different phases. I had curly ends in the beginning, which I loved. So as they began to lock up at the ends, I spent a lot of time in the beginning going back with a push pin and opening my ends up. All of them didn't lock because of, I guess, the texture of my hair. It depends. Everybody's hair does something different. But today I have open ends, and that is the way I like them. I never wanted them to fully lock down and close up on the ends. So that changes the way my locks look as well. That is something from the beginning that I actually loved. But as it started to morph, as they started to get more fuzzy and look more like locks, I initially had a problem with that. Now I've made peace with it and I love them. But there are changes that you're going to go throughout the journey that you need to be prepared for. My hair had a lot of shrinkage. So it was up here for a long time. And I'm like, gosh, when I had my twists, my hair would at least hang a little bit more. Why are they, they're not expressing the length? And the length didn't really start to express itself until 5 years for me. That's when they dropped. That's when my hair began to grow into the lock pattern, and it was smooth sailing after that for the most part. So keep that in mind. And number 6, this is really important. Save the best for last. This is really important. If you're not prepared to take ownership over your locks and to take charge of your journey, regardless of what anyone says, the locks may not be for you, because there are going to be some decisions that you're going to have to make that may somehow veer from what your loctician consultant may tell you. And it could range from, it could be any number of things. It could be not to put oil on your hair when you've listened for the first 1.5 years and you're still having scalp problems, and the fact that it's going to just naturally disappear. It doesn't really resonate with you anymore. You're thinking, I got to do something about this. Or you're experiencing excessive itching because your scalp is crying out for something. Like we have hunger pains when we're hungry, right? We get thirsty when we need to drink water, right? We have a pain when we are overdoing something or something is out of balance. When your skin is ashy, it needs moisture. When your hair cries out for help, and everybody's hair is different, it needs a rescue, and it needs you to rescue it. And so you may have to make a decision to put some oil on your scalp against the guidance of your loctician. So you need to be in a space where you trust who you are in terms of managing your hair, that you trust your knowledge enough to be an advocate for yourself and to make the decisions that you know your hair needs, or to be able to speak up is essentially what I'm saying. Something as simple as when you go into the install, it looks like they're leaving out 1 inch or 2 of your hair. and they're telling you some bogus reason for why they need to leave out an inch or two of your hair, and you're not buying it because you know if you left your hair out under any other circumstances, it's gonna lock up and it's gonna look crazy. So why would your locks look any different? Why are they going to look any different? Because that person tells you, oh, well, you know, you have such and such a kind of ends or this or that. You have to be willing to speak up, okay? You have to be willing to make yourself known. If you notice while you're getting your hair done that is too tight to your head and it hurts, you have to be willing to speak up or to have a dialogue about this. If you start to notice that your grid is not looking right, or that somebody's doing something else to your hair that didn't seem like what your friend went through that had sister locks. I mean, you will be surprised the multitude of things that I've heard while on this channel. Thanks to all of my beautiful sisters and my kindred spirits out there. People using glue to keep the hair. You know how we would put glue on extensions, putting a dab of glue on your hair to keep it from slipping or unraveling. That's serious, right? That's serious stuff. So if you're not prepared to be your own advocate and you can't make your own decisions with regard to the locks, then you might want to reconsider it, which is why going back to number one and making sure that you're comfortable with your loctition is very important. I've even had sisters on the channel tell me that the way their hair is, their particular texture, density, and everything else, the tool itself snags their hair. All right, now maybe that could be the responsibility of the loctician because of the way she's using the tool, or maybe she's moving too fast. But if it's not and that person wants to use a different tool, you kind of want to know ahead of time, is there room to maneuver? So those are the 6 reasons that you should likely not get sister locks. And there's a whole host of multiple other reasons. But if you've made it this far, you have gotten 6 important reasons. If you have not purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, which is a book of healing and the journey towards greater levels of inner happiness and movement towards being your greater self, you can get it on Amazon. You can also get it on Barnes & Noble. Shout out to all of my beautiful sisters and butterflies out there who have purchased the book. Don't forget to go back and do your review. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it, to subscribe, and to share. And I hope that you will check the channel out for the next video that we'll post in several days. That's going to be presenting the 7 top reasons why you should get sister locks. I'm getting ready to do that one right now. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. For those of you who are purchasing the I Am Melanin Magic hair oil in the 8-ounce spray bottle, getting great feedback. Really appreciate all of your support for the product. I'm glad that you are enjoying the product. Shout out to Danette, who sent me more recently before and after pictures, and the rest of you all as well who are giving me feedback on the oil. Look forward to the Maximum Hair Growth Serum, which is a different set of synergistic ingredients which are being tested now to further hair growth and help with people that have had hair loss and hair thinning. So look to maybe in the next couple of months or so, if not a little less, to be getting some information from me about that. I am dedicated to assisting those who want faster hair growth, or those who are dealing with issues where their hair has really thinned or they've lost a lot of hair. And whereas the I Am Melanin Magic hair oil is superb because it is the only thing that I have used all this time, even though I've modified the recipe to make it better, essentially the essential oils and the natural products that I've put on my hair are what has allowed it to endure in terms of the dye, the picking with the lint, the taking, I've done a lot with my locks, more than probably the average person is willing to do with their locks, because I can't help it. I'm just a nonconformist and I need to be self-reliant. I have a difficult time depending on people. What's that saying? God bless the child who's got his own. So I'm kind of one of those people. So hopefully not self-reliant to a fault, but I like to know what's going on with my hair, and I like things to look a certain way. And I'm also, before, was very, very impatient. So I couldn't wait for those bulges to come out and all those crazy looking things that were happening when I wanted my locks to look even. So I've done a lot with my locks, and that might not be you. But for those of you, you know that I'm concerned about providing you the best in high-end blends for your hair, natural ingredients, pure ingredients, organic ingredients to assist you on your hair care journey and to help you to love on your hair in a way where your long-term commitment will pay off, and that whatever you're working with in terms of your hair, that you're able to improve it and advance in that. So lots of love to all of you guys, and I will be talking to you again soon with the next video. Have a beautiful day, and for those of you who want to stick around and just have me to pull a card with a message for you today, let me just see what the daily meditation is, or the daily thing that you need to give some thought to. Okay, unexpected visitors. So some of you may be having some unexpected visitors. You could be having a mom to come and visit you, or a child to need to return back home, something unexpected. It could also be something on the job, perhaps something to do with maybe a boss, or a change in leadership, or maybe your QB is going to be graced with the presence of someone else in an adjacent QB. Unexpected visitors could also mean you're getting ready to drop down on somebody else. It can mean any number of things, so kind of think outside the box, okay? But this is talking about detours, surprises, something that's unexpected that can come from not just a visitor, in terms of an individual, but can come into your life in a multitude of different ways, okay? Some type of unforeseen circumstances that may somehow uproot for your benefit and the benefit of your own growth, may uproot some best laid plans that maybe you have had, okay? And the advice here, life is full of surprises, so stay on your toes and enjoy this exciting new adventure you weren't expecting. There is a plan for your life that may not match up with your agenda. So this is just about being flexible and being prepared to participate in life on life's terms. You know what I'm saying? I always say, you know, life unfolds magically in its own way and in its own time, okay? There is no destination, only the journey, all right? And the now is what we are seeking, all right? There is no destination. There's the journey. We need to enjoy each and every day in each and every moment. And so find your now in every moment and just smile and just go with the flow. Have a beautiful, productive, and peaceful day.